Hello readers, today we're ready for session 4 in our fantasy unit. Today we're going to be talking about suspending judgment. The other day I was rewatching one of the Harry Potter movies and I was thinking about when I first started reading the books, how detestable I always thought Professor Snape was. He's very cruel, he was very powerful, he was nasty, he really was that word that J.K. Rowling used all the time to describe him. He was malevolent. But the thing is, I've read all the Harry Potter books, and I know that Snape is not truly evil. He's more complicated. He is bad in small ways, but he's better in big ways. He's flawed. And it's rather fascinating to think about this. And it made me think about how to understand Snape, you have to be willing to reserve judgment and see how a character develops over time. And I think that's true about a lot of characters. Another one that brings to mind in a book that we read was Lexi from Because of Mr. Trapped. I know we talked about when we first read that book how a lot of us just did not care for that character at all. She had her flaws, but over time she was able to redeem herself, and we were able to see some good sides of her as well. So today I want to guide you in an inquiry in which you consider what you can learn about characters over time. So instead of coming to quick conclusions, but be able to be willing to rethink along the way about these characters. So our work for today is to answer the question, what can we learn about characters if we study them over time, delving deeply into their formations, their motivations, and their actions. So you see that right there on your page, right here. What can we learn about these characters? So what else we're going to be doing today is I uploaded a video that goes along with what I'm talking about with Professor Snape. Now, some of you I know have already read the Harry Potter books, but some of you may not have. So I'm just going to give you a second, and some of you might have just seen the movies, to really think about, those of you who've read the books or seen the movies, think about what it is that you already know about Professor Snape. What do you know about who he is? Just focus on what you learn about Snape from the beginning of the story. Who he is to Harry, what his relationship with Harry's parents are, those types of things. So just take a minute to think about that. Okay, and for those of you who don't know who he is, Snape is a professor at Hogwarts. He's the instructor of potions. He was a student at the same time that Harry's parents were, so he knew Harry's mom and Harry's dad. And he seems very cruel and nasty to Harry when Harry first meets him. So we're going to do an inquiry to see if these are all of Snape's traits. So I also uploaded a video from the Deathly Hallows Part 2 movie. I'm going to have you guys pause right now and watch that video. And in your notebook, the part where it says, what character traits do you see in Snape? And provide evidence, that part right there, I would like for you guys to take some notes about what is it that you're noticing about Snape. Jot some traits down that you see, and what is the evidence for those traits. So pause this recording and go watch the video and do that, please. Okay, so here are just some notes that I took. He's secretive, he's imaginative, he's powerful, he's prejudiced, he's bullied. He's jealous, he's kind, he's also brokenhearted. Some evidence I have to support that is he didn't want anyone to know of his feelings for Lily, even after she had died. He was an imaginative. He made that leaf fly to Lily to kind of get her attention when they first met. He's very powerful, even as a child. He can make all the leaves move without even using a wand. He's prejudiced. That's shown where he's talking about Petunia as ordinary and Lily was special. He also said later in the video that James, Harry's dad, is lazy and arrogant. But it shows that he was also bullied. James and Sirius bullied him when he was younger. Snape was jealous. He was jealous of James and Lily because he loved Lily. He did have a kind side, though. He was a friend to Lily every time she needed it. And he was brokenhearted because he cried for Lily when she died. So here's what I want you to try now. I want you to take it to the next level. So far we've gathered some evidence for some traits for Snape. Now see if we can try to gather some clues about why is Snape that way? Why does he develop these traits? This is going to be harder because you're going to have to use some inferring and figure out some of the smaller details that suggest reasons why Snape is lonely or why was he unhappy, or why was he cruel? You're not really looking for evidence, but reasons and motivations behind that. So it would be helpful if you would pause again and rewatch that video and see if you could figure out, why do you think he is the way he is? What is it that made him secretive? What is it that made him so unhappy or cruel? So some of the things that I just noted, and again, too, this is a little bit easier for me because I've read the books many times, I've seen all the movies, but he's secretive. He's hid his feelings and his allegiance to Voldemort, to Dumbledore and the good side, just for the greater good. He was doing it, he was being a double agent because he loved Lily and he was avenging her death. He was prejudiced. The reason for that is because I'm assuming it's because of how he was brought up. When we first met him, he seemed very lonely. He was by himself. He had kind of like scraggly hair, weird clothes. We can infer that he was probably poor. And also reading what we've done through the novels, what I know about how some wizards felt about muggles, ones without magical blood, they were just naturally very jealous or very prejudiced towards them. And he was brokenhearted because he lost the only thing that he cared about, Lily, which he continued to love her through his whole life. So readers, we just did two important things here. We expected that characters were complicated, and we gathered evidence for various and contradictory traits, like, evidence for why he was kind, but also evidence for why he was cruel. And we thought not only just about evidence for their traits, but we were delving deeply into the formation of those traits. Why is it that they were the way they were? So which means that we reconsidered why characters, what happened to them to make them the way that they are. So as you go off today, I want you to add this to the work that you're doing as you read. I want to see you that you suspend judgment while you're gathering information and evidence, and you really analyze the character, and be ready to consider characters, to continue observe and analyze them, and to be open to rethinking about the type of character that they are, really thinking about what is it that makes them this way. So in your notebook, you have this page here. The first one says, expect that characters are complicated and gather evidence for various traits. So think about the main character in your book. Jot down some traits that you know about them already, and you might notice that some of them might be contradictory. You might notice that they can be kind in some places, but also very cruel in another place. Or maybe they're on the outside, they show that they're very happy and fun-loving, but on the inside, they have a lot of hurts and anguish going on inside them. And then reconsider why the characters are the way they are. Give me if you think you can have evidence for why they're happy, but what is it that's made them that way? What is it that's made them in their life hide their hurts and sorrows inside rather than sharing them out? Like when we talked about Lexi, we said that she was not a good friend. What was it that was making her not be a good friend? Well, we learned through reading that it was her mom basically telling her, don't be bullied. You need to fight back before anyone can treat you that way. And that's kind of what she was doing. And she was causing problems among other girls before any girls could turn on her, so that she was in control. That was us reconsidering why she was the way she was. So you can write those things down here on this page. Think about your characters. What are some of their traits? Why are they the way they are? You may also do a book snap. You may snap a piece of evidence from a text and tell me, this character is doing this right now, and this is why. This is why they are behaving this way, or why they are acting like this. So either one would be great to show me some evidence for your thinking on this. As always, happy reading, and make sure that you get some reading done today, and don't forget to do your Lexia minutes as well. Good luck, everybody.